Pryde's pics are spoiler heavy. Consider yourself warned. Hey everyone, it's Pryde, and I'm here with this week's Pryde Picks. So as of like the last year and a half or so, I have gotten back into comics thanks to Tate's Comics of Lauderhill, Florida, and my Just a Couple G's podcast. I now have unlimited access to just about every comic ever made, and especially the new stuff. I thought I would do a weekly vlog about new issues that I enjoy or thought you might enjoy. This week is very X-Men heavy. It's very Marvel heavy. The ones that were pulled were books I enjoyed, and DC didn't have anything good out. There was no Batman out. So this week I'm going to start with Wolverine and the X-Men. This is actually one of my favorite books. This cover made sure it was the first one I picked up and the first one I read because Wolvie's got jungle fever. So when the whole AVX thing went down, the Phoenix Force was imbued in some of the X-Men, and Namor kind of tried to smite Wakanda. Black Panther took offense to this, and he ended up breaking it off with Storm. They got it annulled, kind of like a Kardashian or some shit. And so he sends her back to the School of Mutants with his approval. Just don't date him. And we don't know who him is right now, but everyone seems to assume it's Wolverine because they're making out on the cover. So Wolverine and Storm meet up, and Storm's the new headmistress because Kitty Pryde is off dealing with the 5 old new X-Men that came from the past. Beast seemed to have thought that after this Phoenix Force debacle, he thought maybe the X-Men from the past, Jean, Scott, Iceman, Beast, and Angel, would benefit from coming into the future and shake everybody, shake some sense into them, and kind of fix the wrongs that have been made. I think it's a bad idea, and Beast wasn't thinking too well and probably high on crack when he did this. So Kitty's taking care of them, and she's handed the school over to Storm. And apparently Storm and Wolverine had something going on in the danger room. And then she's like, can you do me a favor? Follow me to the showers. He follows her to the showers, and afterwards she says, can you do me another favor? And you're like, oh, I know what this is. And then he pulls out his schnickies, shows her that he went to the school of Avita, Spa, and something, and gave her an amazing haircut that is known as Storm's 80s, 90s mohawk. Idie and Brew, Idie's at Brew's side. Brew is a brood who is very intellectual and very adorable, and honestly my favorite character in this book. He got shot, and he's now in a coma. At least he's not dead. And she's been sitting by his side patiently. He tried to woo her when he was alive. Cut to Quentin Quire, who is another one of my favorite characters. He's an asshole. He's a telepath. He's cocky as shit. And he's constantly saying, damn the man. But for some reason, I really like him. He runs into Jean Grey of the past. And he's thinking, man, I want to hit that. And Jean's like, I can hear you. And they end up having a cute little talk. And he hits on her again, and she's like, never gonna happen, and he walks away. But you can tell he kind of has respect for her, and he was a little bit in of her, and he's like, I'm totally getting in Jean Grey's panties. So I liked him even more after that, because he's such a dick. And then the final scene, the best part of the whole book, is Idie goes to leave Brew, and Brew goes, rah, and he jumps out at her. So either coming back from the dead, he's lost some of his intelligence, and he's just a straight-up animal, or maybe it's just a knee-jerk reaction to waking up from being shot in the head. We'll find out next issue. But I have to say, Wolverine and the X-Men, I love it. I say buy it now, but it might just be because I'm a huge X fan. Moving on. AVX was Avengers vs. X-Men when the Phoenix Force came. Well now, Marvel now decided to do A plus X. I have 2 issues because I missed last week's and I had to fill myself in on... Okay, there's no blank in between these. A plus X is 2 mashups. It's 2, instead of verses, it's 2 characters, 1 Avenger, 1 X-Men, meeting up and fighting together some unforeseen force. In issue 3, the first team up is Storm and Black Panther, who we recently discussed is divorced. So they're like, this is going to be awkward. He had these brides parade in front of him, these princesses who wanted to be his new wife because they heard about his annulment. Storm cracks some thunder, lays some rain on top of them. He flies up into the clouds. They have a discussion. It was lame. It ends in them just, can we do it one more time for funsies? And he's like, what? Thinking he's gonna get like one last at the goddess Storm? Not happen. They just freaking race. It was gay. And then the next one was Hawkeye and Gambit. And for you ladies out there, you think Hawkeye and Gambit, that's sexy. I thought so too. Until I saw Hawkeye and Gambit together. And they were both stroking their own dicks, talking about how great they are. I'm gonna save this woman first. No, I'm gonna save this woman first. And then in the end, it's who gets the woman's number. Honestly, pick it up on the shelf at your local comic shop, preferably Tate's, and look at it, enjoy the scenery, check out Storm's hair and how she's not getting it on with her ex-husband, and go buy something better. Issue 4 was no better. I hate to tell you guys. These team-ups are supposed to be very exciting, and instead these team-ups end up being kind of ridiculous. And when I say ridiculous, I'm talking about Spidey and Beast. They're both scientific, they're both very smart, and I'm assuming this is still Peter Parker, even though we all know in Superior Spider-Man that Peter Parker's dead, and Otto Octavius is in his body. Well, I think it's still Peter, and him and Beast are teaming up, and they're all spitting scientific jargon back and forth, and it just shows them in some alternate dimension of blue people, beast people, and they're calling him the maker, the creator, the origin of their species. They throw Spidey out the window and try to get him killed by like this giant cat, and then the queen of the culture is trying to hump Beast. I'm seeing a pattern. Beast goes and saves Spidey, tells the queen to F off, and then next thing you know, they're just sitting on a park bench eating ice cream, and Spidey's like, why would you ever make an alternate dimension where you were such a horrible person? And he's like, I have no idea. And this girl's like, does that dog have rabies? That was the best part about it. But it was just ridiculous that they jump into this magical realm, and then a minute later, they're out of it. But you don't know how they got there, how they're leaving. Very convenient, Marvel. And then you have Captain America and Quentin Quire. I've said Quentin Quire is a new favorite of mine. Apparently, Wolverine thinks it'll be therapeutic for Quentin Quire to team up with Captain America and go on a mission together. I think deep down, Wolverine is being a dick. And he's like, yeah, you should team up with Cap. For some reason, he thinks he needs a telepath to have his back. Quentin Quire's pissed off. Captain America had him imprisoned. He doesn't give a shit. He's like, I'm not helping you. And he's just sitting there. And then these little MODOKs show up and you hear, intruder, intruder. And next thing you know, they're inside Captain America's head. And these are the little dudes that show up. They're much like MODOK. And they're flying around attacking him. Captain America and him fuck shit up together. Then they find that they have like a mutual friendship of sorts. They understand each other maybe a little bit better. And he's like, would you like to team up with me on some more missions? And Quentin Quire's like, fuck no. He's like, but I don't want people knowing that you and I are friends. So Captain America kicks him back to school, makes it look like he got kicked out. And Quentin keeps his reputation.